Hi, my name is Stacy Price, and in 2015, I realized I wasn't a great communicator. I avoided eye contact, I spoke in a monotone, and I struggled to connect with others. To help change that, I started interviewing people in my community, and that experiment became my first podcast, Waste Off Podcast. Through those conversations, I learned that taking risks creates change, and change creates growth. I also discovered my passion for business and leadership. Now, with Price on Purpose, I help the creatively curious, aspiring entrepreneurs, and leaders find their purpose and build more fulfilling lives. Tune in for stories, insights, and my Quality Theory segment, where I explore business processes, analytics, and, most importantly, the customer experience. And now, this is the next episode of Price on Purpose. Hey guys, thank you for joining another episode of Quality Theory, where why and how matter. Once again, I am your host, Stacy Price, and I am joined today with my awesome new buddy, David Powers. David, how you feeling today?
Oh, I am just feeling peachy keen and all in between. So I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Stacy?
That's good. I'm well. Just got up a while ago, so I'm starting my day out. I'm assuming it's early by you. You're on the West Coast, am I right?
Yeah. It's 9:02 right now. So, but that's pretty late for me. So.
Oh, you're like an early riser?
Early riser and a night owl at the same time. So that's what all this is for. So.
I got you. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, David, tell me a little bit about what you do.
All right. So right now, I am the contact center manager and social media director for Rooter Hero Plumbing. We're one of the biggest plumbing companies in the state of California, and we're growing exponentially.
Nice.
But I've been in the call center game since I was 17, so about 23 years now.
Ooh.
So yeah, first job in the call. Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. So first one was first job ever, 17 years old, at a call center taking retention calls for a dial-up internet service, right when cable and DSL were coming on the scene. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine retention was a bit tough with dial-up. So from there, I've worked in a myriad of other call centers in pretty much almost every industry. So, credit card processing where you read like 12 pages of verbatim script, all of that stuff. So get to see pretty much every single angle of the call center industry. So,
right. So I'm curious because, I was doing a little survey a couple weeks back, asking people in this group, like, what kept them in the customer care industry. And I've got like so many answers. So I'm actually curious to hear from you first. What kept you in this industry? Because you spent quite some time here.
Yeah, 23 years.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like one of the only places you can work where you literally meet every single like walk of life, right? So there's people that come in for like training and then they dip, right? So you get those people. Yeah. The people that just move to an area and, and then everything in between. So it's really just the people and the buzz around it. So and that's what drew me to it. That's what kept me there. And then I found out I was actually kind of good at it. So, which is, rare for me. So I was like, oh, cool. Let's see where this goes. And then kept getting different, raising up, but starting off at the bottom of each one, which is my preferred method. Because I want to, before I take a management position or QA, anything like that, I need to know what life is like on the floor.
Yep.
So, and the only way to do that is to, work on the floor. So
exactly. Yeah, I think that's a rarity sometimes with the customer care industry, as far as based on the people that create the change. Sometimes we usually hear it's from somebody that doesn't actually experience that day to day lifestyle, I guess I'll
Right.
call it, which I think sometimes may cause some disconnect when it comes to developing tools or training materials. Uh, but I understand, like, they mean well. They mean
Yeah.
well. But I like that approach because that's how I am too. I've spent over 17 years in the industry myself. I worked for a major cable provider in the tri-state area, and then I moved to a collections company. And then I had that experience too, where I'm like, okay, I think I'm kind of good at this. Like, why am I good at this? That was the first question I asked myself. Did you ask yourself like why you're good at it?
Yeah. Yeah. Like of all the things that I've ever done, tried, it's like I am good at customer service. And then when I became a team lead and all that stuff, I was good at that too. And it was just like, all right, all right, okay. So, and then, my teams usually had the lowest turnover rate, everything like that. So, and it's, because I've been on the floor. I started off at the very bottom.
Yeah,
I was just a kid when I started.
literally.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
so
pretty interesting to be in that industry so young. Like, I think when I started, I think the youngest person might have been like early 20s.
mhm, yeah,
So from 17, that's amazing.
yeah. It was a brand new call center. It
Hmm.
just opened up in Brunswick, Maine,
Hmm.
and um, they were pretty much doing this giant job fair where they were bringing on pretty much everybody that went to the job fair because they had to staff up to like 300 like in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, and they had this one program where they were bringing in 16, 17-year-olds on this
Mm.
like prorated like pay plan. It was like
Hmm.
less pay than the people that were out of high school and everything else.
Hmm.
So,
Got you.
but yeah, and I got in. It was like $6 an hour
Mm.
back then. So, but minimum wage was like 7.
Yeah,
So,
I remember those
or,
days.
yeah. So got in, but and they were nice enough to work around school schedules and everything else. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was eye opening to see that. Yeah, I was making $1 less than like these people that had degrees and stuff, but that was kind of the economy back in the late '90s, early
Yeah.
2000s.
Yeah, I remember starting off at like $6 and change in a grocery store.
Yep.
And then when I got to like $10, I was like, oh my God, this is so much money.
Yep. I remember when I was lifted up to $9, I was like living like a king.
Yeah.
So
It's like, you mean all the TV dinners I want? Oh my God.
it's like it's gonna be more than ramen this week.
Exactly. Good times, man. It's so interesting to speak to somebody that's also been in the industry and to see you kind of continue on. Because some people leave, like even myself, like I said, I wanted to become a business owner and take what I taught and now build this into its own thing and just to see what happens. Do you ever have that idea or are you already doing that?
Um, I do have a CX call center podcast called Caffeinated CX, where I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of doing my own thing, but
Mm-hmm.
and I've kicked the idea around of going into consultancy and stuff like that, but I'm just having too much fun right now, like
That's cool.
because I built the call center here from basically scratch,
That's
so
amazing.
it's my baby, and
Yeah.
like not as much as my my kids or anything, but
Yeah.
it it's still my baby, and I love it, and I've like crafted it to be like what I wanted a call center to be growing up.
Mm.
So since I've seen both the good and bad of the industry, and
Mm.
let's face it, a lot of them are really bad.
Mm.
So I mean, we're talking about 40, 50, 70% turnover rate at a lot of centers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so using that, taking what I liked from them, taking what I didn't like and throwing that out the window. Right now, I have a turnover rate of about 10, maybe 12%.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
What is it? What do you think it is? Or what have you found out that keeps people in this space? What is it?
It's being human and treating them like humans. That's what it is. A lot of the times, especially if you make it up to a team lead, supervisor, anything like that at a lot of centers, you manage off of a spreadsheet, right? And you have like 30, 40 people right under your direct supervision. I think the biggest team I ever had was at a cable company in Utah, and I had 25, maybe 30 people under my care because they melded two teams together. And at that point, like, by yourself, you can't keep track of everyone. There's not enough time in the day to do all the necessary coachings, getting to know your staff and stuff, especially when there's 50 to 100 calls in queue. So.
Right. Yeah. It's so interesting that you pinpointed, treating people like humans, because, I too align with that. I think a lot of it is good listening skills and really understanding not only what that person needs to feel valued in that space, because I think that's the thing, like when you have a lot of employees and you are supervising them, it's important to know their values. Your values may be different from theirs. And if you don't know their values, it's going to be hard to dictate the message to them. Would you say so?
Yeah. You gotta know your people. You gotta spend time with your people, which is hard to do, especially right now with the pandemic and the flare-ups and everything. Our interview process kind of, my interview process kind of gets to the heart of the matter, because I look for two things. I don't care if people have experience in customer service. I don't care, because some of the best people I've got in their first job, right? So, and then some of the worst people I got had been in the industry for like 10 years. So, because they bring that baggage with them.
Yep.
There's two things I look for in an interview, and that's attitude and effort.
Yes.
And I kind of stole that from Thomas Laird from Advice from a Call Center Geek, but just the terminology, because I've been doing that anyway. So our interview here is like half hour is a short one, right? So, and it's just talking, getting to know them. There's a couple CX or, customer service questions in there, but it's just seeing what makes them tick, right? If they'd be a good fit for the culture.
Right.
So, and that's what you got to do. I mean, other call centers I've applied to, I've worked at, the interview process was you took a test and then you met with someone for 5 minutes, and then you were hired and put into a really, really boring 3-week training course, right? Where it was all systems, because you had to use 5 or 6 of them on the same call. And then maybe the last day, maybe half of the last day, you'd get some customer service training. Right. If they had enough staffing on the floor.
Right.
So otherwise you were out on the floor.
Right.
So.
That's very true. I love your hiring process. Attitude. Oh my goodness. That is the major key. That, to me, that's number one. Effort. I love that focus there. Attitude for me, that's something I got from Earl Nightingale. He always speaks about attitude in anything you do, whether you're sweeping floors or you're the CEO of the company. If you don't have that positive attitude, and when I say positive, I mean more so from the arena of optimistic, that is huge, because everything is not going to go right all the time. Right. It's how you deal with it, that matters. So I think that's a very good thing to look at in that hiring process. And effort. Tell me about what effort means to you, and if you have any thing that somebody could look for. So say a call center manager is maybe listening to this episode. looking for as far as effort? What does that mean to you?
Effort is they're willing to try things. They're willing to go out on a new branch or new thing and actually give it their all, right? So you can point questions that way. Like, if you were in this situation, what would you do? Or tell me about a situation you were in when you had to do this. How did it go? Right? Not getting into specifics because I can't think of it, but that's okay. So,
yeah, indeed.
But they have to have that spirit, kind of like an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, where they're willing to take risks. They're willing to give maybe not great answers or stuff like that, but they need to have like a can-do spirit, right? So tell me about the most difficult part of your life without getting into like, personal specifics,
right?
But stuff like that, like, so, and
That's
then
huge.
and then depending on their answers, because some people don't want to answer that question, right? And I'm totally cool with that. I'll pivot then and ask some other ones. But if they do have an answer for that, you can tell a lot about their character, especially if it takes them a couple of seconds to digest the question and then give an answer because they're giving some thought to it.
Yeah.
If they just rattle off something, it's probably fake.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or it just
I think that's amazing. Yeah. I read this online before I got here on Instagram. No, I think that's amazing. That outlook is awesome because I think as long as you have that means you're willing to learn. You're willing to deal with things that maybe you don't know how to do, but you're willing to make the attempt because we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for not only are you willing to try it, and if not, to find out like how to do it. I think that's pretty cool. And I think if you focus on that, you'll get some good eggs there, would you say?
Yeah, it's worked so far. So, we've messed up a couple times, but those
happens.
And those are quick to correct. So, and then after they're hired, you can't let up. You have to continue knowing because things are going to happen in life. I mean, the last, what is it now, 3 years?
Oh my
have
God.
proven that. So what we do is here we offer like personal, professional development. We have 2 book clubs, one for the call center itself, one for the company. Whoever wants to come can come. And there we read like for the call center, it's mostly like CX books and stuff like that. And for the company book club that everyone's invited to, it's more personal development, leadership, stuff like that. So I run both of those here. So,
yo, congratulations, David. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Oh man, that is so refreshing to hear because the way my brain is translating this is that training is not stopping in the training room. It is continuous with your presence here in this space. And it gives the ability for these skills to be used in their personal lives.
100%.
Oh man, so, that's so beautiful.
So my philosophy with all of them is pretty much for the call center agents, for any employee, because I have admins and everything else under me, or that I work for, which is a much better term, is up and out, right? So because let's face it, a lot of times this is an entry level job, right?
Right.
So it's to build the skills necessary to do pretty much whatever you want to do, right? So facilitating that, and then if there's an opening in another part of the company, we're kind of like the talent pool for that. So, or if they want to venture outside of the company, I'm all for that. So, hey, you're going to get paid $10 more an hour and actually utilize a lot of these skills, and it's going to be better for you and your family and everyone else. Go for it. What can I do to help?
Right.
So, so it's like right now, most of us are remote. I'm not, but I've come into the office every day since the thing started because I have some people that can't work remote. They either can't, family situation, whatever. So that was a, I'm not even going to say it was a challenge. It was kind of easy to do. But only because we had started a trial program beforehand.
Really?
Where, yeah, we were like, all right, so why are you always late? It's like, oh, because I have to bring my kid here. The sitter's always late, stuff like that. It's like, okay, what if you could work from home? And they jumped at it, and it very, very successful. And then I had 2 or 3. And this was like January of 2020.
Really?
So when March hit and everything was locked down, beer was everywhere, I was like, hey, you know what? If you can, work from home. If you can't, we'll take precautions here, which we did anyway, and, you know, spacing out everybody and everything else. So we were an essential business. We didn't have to shut down or anything. So, but like at one point, like 80% of our agents here were remote. And there were no real hiccups in productivity or work or anything. It was actually very, very easy. In fact, there was a point there where I thought it was too easy and something was going to go wrong. So
anxiety steps in like,
yeah, like, no, this can't be right. Everybody else is complaining. What's going on?
Interesting.
So
interesting.
Yeah, it helps that, like, after a brief stint of like really bad stuff happening in my life, after I got everything sorted, I started playing, as geeky as it sounds, World of Warcraft. And on that, like, there's guilds, right? There's teams, and where everything is typed out or, you know, through voice chat, everything else. And I had become a guild leader at World of Warcraft. So it was basically the same thing as, like, you know, a team using Slack or a team using Discord. So I just pretty much was like, oh, I'm just going to treat it like that. We're going to have fun. And this is what it is. So we started playing games on Discord, which is what we use instead of Slack. And we have a leveling system. So the more you engage with people on Discord, the more you level up. Trivia, things like that. We started doing, because you can do video chat on it, checking in with everyone, taking the temperature, especially when it got really dark with COVID during the summer. Right. So, and then it was, actually a good time. As scary as everything was and as uncertain as everything was, I got to know my agents better during that time than, you know, because here when everybody was at the office, like, you know, there'd be a line to the desk and, you know, or I'd be sucked away by the CEO or the COO because of something not related to the contact center, just something that they knew I could help with. But here it's like I could just be on my phone, talking to them, like listening, and then also talking to someone else at the same time, which I don't like doing. But if someone has a crisis here and a crisis there, it happens. So but yeah.
Holy moly, David. Oh my goodness. You know, I love that you said, you know, the transition was easy. You know, I think that with some people it wasn't so easy. You know, with my experience, for a brief time, I was working in a call center. And then during the pandemic, I said, you know what, let me leave and start my own thing. But I remember when the faces of the people that I saw come back weren't all the same. Like, their faces changed. Yeah. You know, and it was really tough to see that because I'm just like, oh man, like I felt like I failed, me personally. Like I took it, I take a lot of things personally that probably I don't need to, but for me, it's like I wanted to continue the program I was doing, but it wasn't, I guess I could say it wasn't seen as a priority. So I was back on the phone, and it bothered me because I felt like we built something so great here. You know, I started coaching the agents beforehand, and I'll admit I had some trouble adapting. You know, I had some trouble adapting to that new work environment. Me personally, I loved working at home. I was like, this is amazing, right? I was just like, I'll never go back. I got Disney Plus on. I'm watching Little Mermaid rerun and Schoolhouse Rock, and I get to help these people. Let's do it, right? And then it's like, everybody back. And I'm like, no. You know, and I just remember coming back, and I just felt like, you know, I felt like I wanted to do better, me personally. I wanted to do better as far as connecting with the employees and having that ability to reach out to them, like, hey, how you doing? You know, what's going on? You know, because, you know, for our call center, we realized, you know, a lot of people, their numbers dropped as far as performance, like dropped. And I think it was because, you know, some people are so used to a certain environment, and that environment is naturally motivating. And then when you're away from that, it's just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. No, that does happen. It's just, you have to, and it helps that we're not like a 500 seater, right? So that does help. With 500 seaters or bigger than, like, let's say 100 agents, you need multiple people in leadership roles in order to
check it in and
because it's impossible for one or even two, even three people, right? There's too many. You're human, right? So, and you have limits, and that's it. And then you have to be aware of your own burnout. And so, but yeah, we gave everybody the option of either staying at home or coming back in. And, you know, the hybrid model and everything. If you want to come into the office, cool, we're here. Doors are always open. There's your desk. Hasn't been touched. There might be some dust on it. I don't know. But a lot of people elected to stay at home, right? And that was cool too. I was like, cool. And then right now, because of the latest surge in the pandemic, and I guess it doesn't matter anymore because everybody's getting it.
Yeah.
We were just like, all right, so if you want to, don't need to, but it's advisable for you to work from home. And so right now, you go out to the call floor, which is like a few rooms away. What is it? There's like maybe 3 people. So, and everybody else is checking in on Discord. They're, because I'm watching the notifications up on my phone as this records, and like everyone's helping each other. It's like the team, everyone stepped up to be a team player. And during this whole 3-year, we lost, maybe not dramatically lost, but but 3 people, I think, have gone on to other jobs. So, but the same crew that I had at the beginning of the pandemic is the crew I have now, plus some additional ones that we've hired. So,
nice.
So, yeah.
It sounds good over there, David. It sounds like you got a good oiled up machine.
And it's all human-centric. It's all about the employees, because they're the ones that are driving the business. They're the ones that are relating to the customers. And I have an equation I use. It's EX equals CX squared. Right? So employee experience equals the customer experience doubly so. So the customers are there. They're the ones that keep the business in business, right? Because you can't have a business without customers.
Right.
So the employees are there to take care of the customers, and it's all in how you want the customers to be treated. You treat the employees great, they're going to treat the customers great. They're going to treat the business great, and it becomes this whole cycle. So, not many call centers I've worked at, maybe because they were contracted, maybe some other reasons, just weren't like that.
Agreed.
So